Hey guys, I'm here with this month's Laney's Little Bug, which is...
Hi, my name is Carissa Wolf. I'm 12 years old. I live in Ohio and I've been twirling for my whole life.
And are there any specific titles that you have, or anything you want to inform the viewers about?
I'm the 2018 Juvenile World Solo Champion, and I'm also 2018 Preteen Miss Major in Ohio.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm super excited to have you as a Laney's Little Bug. Can we hop into the interview and get started on some questions? Perfect.
I don't even know what's in here.
Okay, so my first question for you is, what's in your baton bag?
I have my world's bag here. I have a lot of random stuff in here.
Yeah.
This is from our school. I just have headbands. And I have my two lucky towels. They're both green because that's a lucky color. And then I have my ankle and my knee brace, which I don't wear them that much anymore, but I'm
Cautionary measures, you know?
I'm pretty clumsy. I have tissues for when I'm sick at the gym. And I have my speaker for rhythmic.
Good. All good things you kind of need to practice.
And then I just have my batons in this pouch.
More organized than my baton bag.
And then this is my favorite. I have a but a magic eraser. Clean my ends. I have my lucky pig bob. And then I have my twirling shoes if it's super slippery. And then apparently I have one jazz shoe. So.
We're missing one. Yes. Now, can I ask you how your lucky pig bob came about?
Well, I really like pigs. And one day at a competition, my coach Missy surprised me with one that was bigger than this. So every year if I do good at nationals, I get a different size. So I have this one, a normal size, and then a really big one. And Preston named it Bob because I like it.
Perfect. I love the name Bob for it. Fits it perfectly. Yeah, of course. Now, I would like to know, who's inspired you, or who your biggest role models are in the twirling world.
One of my biggest role models is Joel from Claudio because he's really nice to me. He gives me lots of advice and he's all spunky and gets me hyped up before I go on.
That's a good word to describe him, spunky. He's a cool guy.
Yeah. And then another one is Mariah Mascaro because she's so confident and she never lets anybody tell her that she can't do anything. And she became a doctor and I think that's really cool that she works so hard to do that.
She's a big inspiration. She's a huge role model of mine as well. I think it's really impressive that she was able to balance twirling and her academics so well. Graduating from college and med school and everything, she's just incredible and such a great role model. Okay, so I would also like to know what your favorite twirling trick is. This is such a hard question for me personally. I literally can't choose when people ask me to choose one favorite trick. But although it's hard, do you happen to have a favorite?
Yeah, I really like doing any acro tricks because I used to do acro all the time and I don't do as much anymore, but I like doing toss walkovers. And last year I got to twirl for our school's band directors once and I did this trick. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to try this. So I did a leap, walkover, catch under my legs, so now I really like doing that at TU competitions, so whenever.
Yeah, because you can tumble there. Yeah, I love acro. I didn't know you actually took acro. My mom is actually an acro teacher, so I'm quite the little tumbler as well. What's your favorite tumbling skill? Do you prefer to tumble forward or backwards?
Forward, which is really weird because everybody says backwards.
Same way. Okay. Everybody says I'm crazy for it, but I'd rather see where I'm going. I feel like when I'm tumbling backwards, it's blind.
That's odd. I like doing front aerials.
They're my favorite too. They're so pretty to watch as well. Now, do you have a favorite event?
I think it just changes so much, but right now it's probably solo because that's what I feel most confident in when I'm performing, and I really enjoy going so fast because in strut and rhythmic you kind of are or at least me, I'm have slow songs.
Right.
And I get to do all my dance, but in solo I get to show a different side of me.
That's a good way to put it. I have such a hard time. I feel like mine is always changing too, especially depending on the day or the competition. If things aren't working in one event, definitely not my favorite that day.
Yeah.
But I think overall I don't know, it's hard to choose. But I definitely like the diversity between them, how in strut and rhythmic you can show more dancey side of you, and then solo, it's just like power twirling. And same with two baton, it's just twirl, 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 less body work, you know? Yeah, a little less tiring as well. I don't know about you, but strut and rhythmic are like killers when it comes to conditioning. Okay. Now, I would also like to find out if you have like a favorite twirling memory. You've gotten to experience Worlds, especially this like in Norway. You got to travel to Worlds. Maybe a memory from then, or just a random memory from over the years.
When I was little, like maybe 5 or 6, I won intermediate Miss Major at America, and that was so crazy. Like, my mom was crying. I'm like, what are you crying about? And then something else that was a good memory was walking around at Worlds and meeting people from all the different countries and giving them gifts and getting to interact with people that aren't necessarily the same as you is really fun.
Yeah, that's like such a great experience. I think my favorite thing about traveling to Worlds is like getting to see the diversity of people and meet new people. I've had friendships for years. I attended my first World Championships in 2012, and then 2 of my best friends I met at that World Championships. One from France and one from Holland. Sorry. And I talk to them almost on a daily basis. So it's so cool to create friendships with people from so far away. It's a great experience.
Yeah, and then people from the United States that I don't get to see all the time, like Casey, we walked around after solo, and that was really fun because we don't usually talk that much at competitions.
Right. Well, when you're at a competition, you're so focused on like competing and what's happening, you don't really have much time to socialize. So when you get opportunities like that, you really get to like connect and bond with like people who are considered like your competitors, and they actually end up being some of your closest friends, which is really cool. Now, outside of twirling, do you participate in any activities?
Yes, I do dance, and my favorite thing to do at dance is ballet and contemporary, because they both get to do like legs and stuff, and I like to show off my legs sometimes.
You have great leg lines. I've gotten to watch you strut, and I can only imagine how that transitions when you put the baton down.
And then I just went to a new studio this year, and all my friends at school were there, so that was really exciting.
So you get to have it in you get to have common interests between school and dance. I'm sure that's really fun. Is your favorite, like when it comes to competing, is your favorite genre still contemporary, or do you like to like throw a little spunk in there with jazz or something?
I actually don't compete because we usually don't have time and it's really expensive to compete. But I actually missed the recital this year, but that's okay, I'll do it next year. But my ballet teacher, he's probably the reason why I love ballet so much. He's so funny, but he's also kind of scary at the same time.
I feel like that's every ballet master. They all are so like strict to a level where it's like kind of scary, but then like they make funny comments.
No, he'll let us he'll be super mean at the beginning of class, and at the end he's like, okay, make up a funny routine and show me. It's just their moods are constantly changing. Yeah, it's unpredictable sometimes. Now, this next question I have for you is a little bit of a hard one. If you could change anything about twirling, what would you change? I would change that boys and girls twirl separately, because I think that everybody should be compared equally, and that we all should be able to stay at the same level.
I think that's really interesting. I've never even thought about that. I think that would be really cool. I know some competitions, like two baton, you'll compete against the boys sometimes.
Yeah.
But solo is almost always separated, and I think it would really change things up a bit if we competed against the boys at nationals.
I think that girls would be a lot stronger when they twirl then, because they're competing against someone that's so strong and can do everything so much bigger and higher.
Yeah, they're naturally a little bit stronger than we are, so like the power twirling comes a little bit easier to them because it's just more natural. So I think it would definitely change the development of our twirling, which might be a cool change to see in the future. Now, we already know you like to dance. We talked about that a little bit, but when you have nothing to do, what do you like to do in your free time?
I really like to bake. I've started baking a couple years ago, actually, and for Easter I made these really good cream puffs with my best friend Brianna, and that was really, really fun. And for my brother's graduation party coming up, I'm making cookies, and I'm just going to keep them coming out until they're warm and fresh, because I found this recipe, and now everybody in my family always wants them.
Oh my gosh, she's like a way better baker than I am. I cannot bake at all. I like burn cookies all the time if I try to cook them. It's pretty sad. Maybe you can give me some lessons.
My parents always joke. My dad's like, just let her make it.
Now, how'd you get into baking?
I needed something to do one day. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I watched this show, and I'm like, I could totally do that. So the first time I tried, I really enjoyed it, and I just kind of find it calming. So
I can see that. A lot of people that I know who like bake and everything think like use it as like relax time, like relaxation, and it's peaceful for them as well. So it's cool that you found an interest in that. Never would have thunk it.
my favorite teacher too, she's a baker, and she always shows me different things. It's really exciting to get advice from her.
Yeah. Now, what grade are you in? If you don't mind me asking?
I'm going into 7th.
Oh, so you're already in middle school.
Well, actually, our school, we just got new ones, so I was in the elementary this year, but I'll be going next year.
Okay, so you're excited about the school change?
A little bit. My dad will be there. He's a teacher there. And also, I know most of the kids in the band already from my brother, so I think I'll be used to it and I'll know people. So.
Okay, that'll help. It won't be like walking into a whole new environment. You'll have a little bit of an understanding. Now, what are your future baton twirling goals?
I would love to win like a big title at nationals, but I don't think that's like my main goal. I'd really like to become a role model for other twirlers to look up to.
Wow, that was like so sweet. I loved that answer. Everybody just typically goes to like the main titles that we hear at nationals, but personally, like I've had a lot of people tell me that I'm such a role model for them, and the feeling that I get when somebody says that to me is far beyond anything that like I feel when I achieve one of my biggest goals when it comes to titles. So that's like really moving and really sweet. I love that.
This little girl at the gym, one day I interviewed her for my school project because I needed something to do and I chose video editing. So I interviewed her and I said, who's your biggest role model? And she said me, and that really made me happy, and it just felt really nice.
It's really cool. Today actually at this competition, I was walking through the hall and a little girl was practicing, and I happened to like step a little close to her, and she like stopped twirling, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, you can totally keep twirling, and she just like froze and stared at me in shock. And then like later she came up to me and she was like, I'm such a big fan, you're so amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like it just like melts my heart, you know? It's like a feeling like no other. Now, completely changing subjects. What do you want to do when you grow up?
I would probably like to be the person that goes into the room with kids that are about to have surgery to calm them down, because one of my friend's mom does that, and I think that helps kids so much, and it calms them down. Because when I had my tonsils out, I know that I was terrified, but when the lady came in and talked to me, I felt so much better. And I might also want to be a teacher, because I really love being with kids that are younger than me and teaching.
Okay, so do you like to teach, like do you think you'd want to teach school or like teach twirling?
Probably both, because that's what my mom does.
Okay. So both mom and dad are teachers? That's cool. You have like a whole family of teachers. Continue the tradition going, yeah? Now, what grade would you want to teach?
Probably 6th, because I was the grade I was in, and it's just so interesting, because every kid's kind of changing, so that you can guide kids along, because most kids will be going into a new school that year, and I think that it'd be good to have someone to like watch out.
Yeah, that's really cool to think about. Like going into 6th grade is normally when like your course load steps up, you're taking different classes, you're now having the option to like choose electives. Like you're not just taking like math, science, reading, like those kind of things. It's a little bit more free, and you get to kind of choose the path you want to go down. So to be able to help kids and students like figure out the path they want to go down would be really cool. Okay, so that actually covers all of the questions I have for you today. But before we close out the video, I want to ask if you have any questions for me.
One question is, what's your favorite country you've been to when going to Worlds?
Okay, so this is really hard because for locations as to where World Championships have been, I've only been to, I think, 6 countries. Where like I've only competed in 6 countries specifically. But like traveling in general, I've been to so many. So competing purposes, like competing reasons, I'd probably say like I loved going to Nottingham, England. That was actually a USTA World Championships in 2014. We stayed in like this small little town, and it was so cute. Everybody was just so friendly, and it was actually where Robin Hood like was filmed, if that makes sense.
I've never seen it.
It's actually where Robin Hood is from.
It's where Robin Hood is from. Interesting fact, guys. But yeah, so I was twirling, so I didn't get to like tour the whole town, but like I know my mom and like the other parents that were there got to tour everything and see like the whole village and everything, and it was really cool to like see pictures and everything. Sadly, I couldn't be there because I was practicing, but I got to live vicariously through them through pictures, so that helped. But I think like just travel in general, I loved going to Austria. I traveled there in 2012 when we went to the Switzerland World Championships. That was an MBTA World. And once again, we stayed in Vienna, and that too was like a small little town. But everybody was so friendly, and they had like this fair that was going on while we were there. So we got to go ride roller coasters in a foreign country. So I thought that was really cool. And super fun. So those are like the two big places that are really memorable for me. Any other questions?
What USTA competitions or MBTA better?
Well, this is really hard because I like very different things about both of them. So I love MBTA because their structure is like pretty different, and it goes from like easiest events to like harder, if that kind of makes sense. So like it normally goes from like modeling to strut to solo to two baton, and like that's kind of like the order of events of which I like practice in the gym as well. Just because like for stamina purposes, like I feel like starting off with strut is great, and modeling is like walking. So of course you practice that, but like not as in depth as you do your other events. But I normally start off with strut so that I'm like full of energy, and then I'll move on to solo because that's like a good warm up for multiple batons. So then I'll do two baton after that. So I like that MBTA competitions like follow my practice rituals, I guess. But I think something that I like about USTA events, USTA competitions, is that we get so many rounds of each event. So like at USTA Nationals, I think I'll compete like up to 6 solos in one day. And then we'll be done with solo for the week. But like, it's all one event on one day, if that makes sense. They normally split it to like 2 events on one day, 2 on the other. But like, I like that it's like bang, bang, bang for like one specific event, and then you worry about the next thing the next day, if that makes sense.
I think I'm gonna do USTA next year. I'm not sure.
It's really cool, it's different, and you get to tumble, so that's always a plus. I miss tumbling in MBTA.
One more. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you when you're at a competition?
Okay, so there's a few. The first one being, a few weeks ago, I dropped a trick in my two baton that I literally never dropped. And when I picked up my baton, I forgot my routine because I had never dropped it. I stood there for a second and was like, I had no idea what I was doing. So I was like, oh gosh. And then I just started twirling again and figured out where I was in my two baton and continued. That was like a pretty recent funny thing. But another funny thing that happened was when I was younger, I think it was probably like my second nationals. And at MBTA Nationals, we still had the ice rink floor. Now it's like the rubber floor because they changed it to like a fencing arena instead of like a hockey or ice, whatever it was. But it was still the ice rink, and when it was the ice rink, the floor was super duper duper slippery. And I was strutting, and it was on the first corner, so like I had saluted and marched and like gotten to that corner of my strut, and I was doing my camels, and I fell and like belly flopped on the floor. At Nationals, just belly flopped. And I laid there for a second. I looked up at my coach, and my coach looked at me like, you get up and keep going. And I hopped up off the floor, finished my strut, and I got second in that strut with a belly flop. So I think that was pretty funny, but like a good lesson to keep going, you know?
At Worlds, we went and ate after the first day, and Michael Lopez looks exactly like my brother.
Really?
So we walk in, and he's sitting there eating, and we're like, Carson? And we're like, is that my brother? And so we went up to him like, oh wait, it's him. And he didn't even come with us. So we're like, how did he get here?
Yeah, that would have been great. Why don't we just like show him to surprise you though?
And then we got a picture from his rhythmic, so now we always say, oh look, it's Carson's rhythmic.
That's so funny. I'll have to see a side-by-side comparison so that I can see it. But yeah, any last questions before we close off? Alright, well, thank you so much for being this month's Laney's Little Bug. I had such a great time interviewing you. I mean, I've gotten to talk to you a couple times throughout the years, and especially over the past few years, we've gotten a little bit closer, and especially traveling to Worlds together was like a great experience. So thank you for just like sitting down to do this with me today. I had so much fun.
Thank you.
Alright, well, I'll see you at Nationals.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we're done with that part, but then the last thing. Thanks for watching this month's Laney's Little Bug.
If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe.